Hi, this is Dave Henderson, Mayor of the City of Brockville. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the city and the great Brock Vegas today. So over the past month, City Council has dealt with a couple of things. Probably the most notable was the ice skating rink down on Hardy Park. So it turns out that the city is going to partner up with the DBIA, the Downtown Business Improvement Area, and basically almost on a 50-50 split. But we're going to put a natural pad surface down at Hardy Park amongst the trees so people can skate hopefully from December 15th on to end of February. So if it works really well, they're going to put lights up and they're going to put some sound up and make it a real attraction in the park. Maybe down the road it'll lead to an artificial pad. Who knows? We'll have to see how successful it is and how the weather works out with it. On another note, we also have the developments are still ongoing. We had an economic update from Dave Paul at a recent Chamber of Commerce luncheon where he displayed or showed us how many projects are on the go that are most probable, possible, and in the early stages of discussion. But the most probable ones, really, if you look at a map of the city of Brockville, pretty promising. A lot of good projects, a lot of good investments, solid investors, looking at the downtown because of the community improvement plan, the brownfield plans. But basically, they're getting excited about Brockville, and they like it as a place to invest, and it looks like a good thing to down the road, good place down the road. Now that's interesting because one of the feedbacks that we often get is even from young people and old people alike, and from people in the community, is you often get this idea that, wow, we're really looking at becoming a retirement community. And they sort of say it in a bad way, like it's a disdainful thing. And I think people really, we got to keep hammering home the idea that it's not a bad thing, because in a lot of ways we're already older than average for Canada. Statistically, Brockville's slightly older than average, and because it's such a beautiful place, people like to be here when they're older and retiring. So let's take advantage of that. Let's make jobs out of that, and that's really what the whole idea about developing downtown and developing into the residential market is. Now, that is a great segue into another direction which the city is moving into and council is moving into slowly, is the idea of developing downtown. Because good planning now says that infilling and higher density living in communities like Brockville is a good way to go. One, it's good for development, it's good for greening issues, it's good for environmental issues, and it's good for our infrastructure. And you'll see over the next couple of months probably some thoughts out there by the city council and city staff about why this is a good thing and what kind of direction we can go in. But the bottom line is that making a higher density living area is good for us. It costs less and it promotes a lot of good activities like walking, environmental issues, using our current infrastructure. So you'll hear more and more of that. And we are hearing more and more of that in the environment, out in the media. Other things that are on the go, the MDC, the Maritime Discovery Center, is moving along stepwise. Now we're at a stage where we have to go out and raise funds and design the fundraising plan. The approval, we've reached an agreement with the Fuller Group in principle of what we're going to have. And the Fuller Group, of course, it's very dependent on the Fuller Group selling condominiums because that's what's financing their share of it. And, but we're pretty confident that that's going to happen, and you're going to see some sales offices down there. But really, what people should get excited about is the actual Discovery Center itself. Now, we're going to change the name of it because the Maritime Discovery Center is more of a generic name. And so people know what we're talking about. This is a science center, mini science center, right on the waterfront, connected to the Fuller building across from Blockhouse Island. And it's basically you're looking at the ecology and the geology of the St. Lawrence system, the history and social history of how it connects with the St. Lawrence and Brockville. So we've seen examples of similar types of operations down in the U.S., where you're looking at aquariums and otters and beavers and fish and eels and all these things. And so we're looking at a $12 million facility on our waterfront so that people can come down in the summer and take a look at it and see what's going on and have a little excitement about it, but have some good learning experiences with their kids that are fun. And we'll have traveling exhibits coming in on science shows that travel around North America. So I'm excited about this because this is really a project that could put our downtown on the map and make people interested in coming to Brockville from Ottawa and from Montreal and off the highway, and also something for local people. I'm thinking that my kids this would be a great thing, you know, the rainy day in the summer or the rainy day in the fall or the spring. You take your kids down for a day at the Science Center and have some fun with it. So I'm really rambling on about a bunch of different things, but we've got a lot of exciting things going on at the city right now. It's going to take a lot of work to get all these things to fall into place. And we're 1 year into our current mandate at City Hall, and we've still got to get our service reviews finalized. That'll travel over into the second year. We've also got to get our vision of the city from a council perspective down in writing to define our direction for our staff. Things seem to be falling into place pretty well. We still have, you know, on the downside, we still have some complaints citywide about train whistles. That seems to have really dropped off with the agreements that we have with the CN, but some whistles still slip through. We have the occasional complaint about parking, and for the most part, we have a good record on that and are able to take care of the legitimate complaints. And we have the occasional concern about events and you know, how they clog up the streets. But overwhelmingly, we have good comments about the way the direction the city is going and the types of activities for people and the events that are happening. If you do have comments, and I'd love to hear them down at City Hall, we're open. The email is the mayor at Brockville.ca. The mayor at Brockville.com. There, we better get it to the right place. And we almost got our email situation sorted out. My apologies to a few people out there that I was sending replies back to that we found out it was looping in City Hall here, and I kept getting emails from people saying, "Why aren't you replying?" And I kept sending back emails saying, "I am replying, why don't you listen?" So we've got that sorted out. But anything else that's going on, I'd be happy to hear from you, and we can try and have discussions on things. We had the skateboard park. The Brock News was there on the weekend, and you know, there was quite a crowd up at the Memorial Center for the skateboard park opening. And it was so interesting because the kids that were going out on the park were going out about a week early, and the officials were trying to keep the premises pristine. A lot of effort, but really not the direction for the kids. The kids got on it early, and they seem to be loving it. It is quite an impressive facility, and I just hope we can get a lot of use out of it over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And the structure looks like it's sound for at least 20 to 50 years. It's good, solid, reinforced cement, rebar, the whole works. Looks pretty good. So we're talking about what we're doing for the youth. You know, the skateboard park is a big investment. The ice rink down on Hardy Park will be an investment. And the regular structures, we seem to be getting them cleaned up and spruced up and fixed up pretty well. So pretty happy with the way things are going. But again, love to hear from you to find out if you don't agree. So if you don't agree, let me know. And some people do and some people don't. And it's always better to hear from the people that don't agree so you know what's out there.